Normally, in such big classroom, the instructor will keep on talking. Most of the students just listening.
Just listen.
Students like us often lose their focus halfway and don't really bother listening to the lecturer anymore.
I like this lesson very much.
Yeah, I enjoy it very much.
Discussion is the most amazing part.
I think that even if we're in a very big lecture theatre setting, that it's still possible to do some kind of interactive exercises.
Yeah, I think in-class activity helps me to understand topic.
So let's see if you can, after watching this clip, right, list out all the different ways that they reach the consumer. The Levi's brand and the product category of jeans is something very familiar to the students, an example that helped to bridge theory and practice, because it very nicely tied up all the things that we had done in the lecture. It showed them the things that we'd learned in class and then how that relates to a real-life example.
Articles chosen for discussion are always very interesting, and they are highly related to the important parts of the topic.
I gave them a package, and inside the package it contains articles, video clip, images, and then lastly I developed my own worksheet, an exercise for them to work through. What I've given you are two very short articles that cover. I find that some students, they learn very good by reading through materials. You know, some will learn better by observing or watching something, and then others tend to learn better by actually going through an exercise in a sequential step. So that's why I put together a whole selection of materials. I'll come round to see how you're doing. Are you all right? So Thomas, what have you got so far? Let's have a look.
Just for the market street.
Okay, very good. Let's see, what have you got? Let's have a look. Let's have a look. Customers, okay, tell me
Particularly
what you've got so far.
like that she walks around and talks to us. Sometimes we have answer that is not wrong, but slightly off the track. And so if she talked to us, she can immediately correct our misunderstanding. That is really good.
I go to sit with them for several reasons. One reason is that I want to see if they are struggling with the question, or if they're all right and they understand it. Another reason is that it also helps me to encourage them to interact within the small groups that they're around as well. Students do value, I think, also giving them feedback.
You know, when we reach a bottleneck, when we are thinking of the problem, she will lead us and give us some hints.
Yeah.
So I think it's really helpful.
Whenever you're stuck, then she gives you little hints or new thinking approaches.
Never say which one is right, which one is wrong, but she encouraged us to think further and to discuss further.
I don't give them the full answer straight away because I want to make them think a little bit more. So I may give them sometimes small hints in the right direction, or I may just give them more questions for them to dig deeper. So I try to hold off from giving them the whole answer, because then they're not really thinking on their own and not really absorbing and thinking about the reasons why things occur. I actually make an effort to go to sit with them, the quieter students. I basically first of all check if they're all right, if they understand what they have to do. and listen to the ideas that they've come up with. And I think what's really important for the quieter students is that you have to help build their confidence. So I do praise them for the various ideas that they've come up with.
Breaks out of the circle and gets an eye level with us. So she's leaving the high podium and is coming down and is really like, getting in touch with you. You can really talk about problems with her, and it's very easy to solve the problem by this way.
What's the objective of this campaign? What do they want to do? Why do this campaign? What do they want to achieve? Good, rebuild image. Okay, why do they need to rebuild image? One of the things that students tend to do is they answer very much on the surface only. And what I want to do is for them to really get the most out of the material and be able to get the most out of the lecture material by asking them to try to think of other ways, so it connects what we're doing in the lecture, the theory, to what they found in this example. So I do continue to ask them more deeper questions, or questions that require them to elaborate a bit more as we go along. What about the customers? What do we think? Why? Why is it very elastic? What I do is using the exercise that I've created, I will go back and put together a very detailed answer plan. And then along the different areas in that answer plan, I'll put in questions that I will use to probe or to get further response. So what I do is, by going around the room during their in-class exercise, I make a mental note as well about perhaps some common errors that are happening within the class, or some commonalities in their answers, and I will use that during the debrief to highlight to them what other people have got, or where it's typical that you might go wrong in this type of exercise as well.
When she walks around the classroom, she can collect all the small groups' ideas together and make a brief conclusion about the answer of the question. And she actually brought my thinking and brought my ideas.
In my classes, at the very, very beginning, I already talked to them about the importance of learning, not just from me, but the importance of also learning from their peers, from each other, is also equally important. I also, throughout the course, I do encourage them to speak up and to share their answers or share their ideas. So you create effectively an open environment for them to contribute and to learn.
The atmosphere of the lecture is quite good, and Alison is really friendly, so you are not afraid to speak up. Even if your answer is wrong, she won't reprimand you or anything. She's quite supportive when you are participative.
For the students, I think what's really important is to always stay positive and to be encouraging about their responses. Okay, good, right? So they have a perception that the clothes are of high quality if they use high price, correct, right? I mean, and you've got to be even more positive and more encouraging if the response is wrong, I think. And what I try to do is I stay away from any words of negative connotation, like no or not really, because I find that that's just not conducive at all for them to an open learning environment. So I avoid the use of any negative terms. Instead, what I do is I may throw back another question at them to steer them to think from a different perspective or a different angle instead. Yeah, okay, good. So it creates excitement. Right, good, yeah. You need to encourage encourage them in order for them to feel safe to contribute and to speak up. Reassurance is very important. Positive reinforcement also is quite important for them.
And at first, I think Alison has put forward some very simple questions, and it will make you more easy to answer these questions. So you may not be afraid of this question, and you can feel free. And in the next, you can have the confidence to answer this kind of complicated questions. Yeah.
I will see you next week. All right? Okay. Thank you very much.
I enjoyed the lecture very much, or still enjoy it. Yeah, I think it's a very, very good concept to involve students.
She makes a difference for the teaching in such bigger classroom.